Hare Krishna. We are reading few things from Srimad Bhagavatam, and in this reading about Kunti prayers, Kunti Devi was sister of Krishna's father Vasudeva. So when she got married and she went away, and later she had to go through a lot of sufferings because of Kauravas. And after that, when Vasudeva was imprisoned, meanwhile all these other sufferings were happening. Vasudeva was imprisoned by Kamsa, and later they had to go through so much of sufferings. The whole Vrishni dynasty was devastated because of Kamsa. They were all hiding in different places. Vasudeva's wives, one wife was there with Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavan, and one wife, Devaki, she was there in jail with Vasudeva. So a lot of sufferings they were going through. We know how when Devaki was carrying Balarama in her womb, he was transferred to the womb of other wife of Vasudeva. Because he could be transferred, he could attract the womb. Balaram is also called as Sankarshana. Sankarshana is Lord Balarama only, but here is one more name, how he gets the name of Sankarshana. And he became the elder brother of Krishna. Later Krishna had to be carried to Gokula, and he had to remain there until he became a teenage boy. And then he killed Kamsa. And after that he went to Gurukula. So for many years like this, the Vrishni dynasty, they were all separated. So when they met each other after a long time, they were very happy, and they were sharing each other what happened, how life actually, destiny changes, and everybody will go in different direction. This is how life is. Kunti Devi took birth in Vrishni dynasty, and she was brought up in a great kingdom. In spite of that, sufferings are so normal. The human life is filled with anxieties and material happiness. So even though she was from a royal patronage, she was Krishna's aunt, still she had to go through so many sufferings. She had a brother like Vasudeva. He was not an ordinary person. Vasudeva had all good qualities. Even a demon like Kamsa knows about it, loyalty. He knew how Vasudeva was a perfect match for his sister. And when Kamsa became very angry on Devaki that her eighth son will kill him, the nature of a demon is a friend, a relative, or anybody, they are very close to them until they don't create any harm to them. It is not only for a demonic person. Anybody will always want to be good with others. But here a demon means, he has little one more point. Only if it fulfills his sense gratification, then you are my friend. That's how such kind of friendships, which are based on only their happiness, their friendship, their lovingness. Even if a well-wisher wants to help somebody, they will never accept. That's a demon. A kind-hearted person, even if he does a mistake, if he's soft-hearted and somebody will help him out, you see you are doing mistake, be careful. Then he will not get angry. He may get upset. Oh, I am doing something mistake. I am not able to understand it. He may get irritated. Oh, they are all keeping always insulting me. He may get irritated. Like children also, why are you telling me so many times? I will do no my work. That irritation is not enmity with family members, enmity with friends, but in real family, in real friendship, in real well-wisher is helping other person. He disturbs his sense gratification. He disturbs his prestige, what he has created with others. But that is a well-wisher who is speaking. When a well-wisher is helping somebody, that is for their welfare. They are ready to take bad name. Such kind of friends, such kind of well-wisher, only a demonic person can give up, like Kamsa. Kamsa gave up such a nice relationship with Devaki, his beloved sister, and a brother-in-law like Vasudeva. He put him in jail just because he heard that now her son will kill. And Vasudeva, he was not only having all good qualities, he knew how to manage any situation. So he immediately went and caught the leg of Kamsa and he said, "You are such a royal person, you are a great king. Why you want to taint your hands with blood? It will bring bad name to you. You personally got your sister got married. You are pulling the ropes of a horse and you are taking in the front. And now something you have heard, it may be true or false. It is not good for you to kill your poor sister who is under your mercy. Please don't do this." So Vasudeva was so qualified and he could get rid of his wife from that situation. So sometimes it is said that how even if somebody is a fool, an intelligent person, to take care of a situation, it is all right to go and fall on their feet, because a fool otherwise will not understand. Chanakya Pandita has said that if you advise a person, if you do upadesha to a murka, prakopaya, he gets into anger, na shantaye, they will not listen to us. So you have to use some other method. What is that? You have to accept, okay, whatever you say, I will accept it. Better you please don't harm them. This situation, either you are a pious person or impious person, you will always get into troubles. People will blame you. But when you are a person of character, a true nature, a person who doesn't want to do harm to others, the best means is to serve them back. Vasudeva did not become envious of Kamsa. Kamsa was envious of Vasudeva and Devaki when he thought they will become superior than him or their son will kill them. Devaki had so much of affection for Kamsa, and Kamsa also was showing a lot of affection for his sister Devaki. But it was all on superficial platform. We wish everybody Happy New Year, Happy birthday to you. We wish to you very, very great wishes. We wish everybody. But these wishes, if they are really true wishes, we want them to be happy. Happy not only on a platform where it is tottering platform, shaking platform, not such kind of platform, where everything will be disturbed. When there are disturbances because of cyclone or any natural disturbances in the life, the whole life becomes so difficult. I was hearing recently about snowfall. When there is a snowfall in winter season, especially in the western countries, where it goes minus 10 degrees, 15 degrees, 20 degrees, they will be not able to open the door of their car. By the time they park and go from the supermarket and go back, their car will be filled with ice. They should have one hammer and break that ice and then open the door. So extreme conditions of cold and heat, material world, people think they are all enjoying life. But you see the extreme conditions in this world. You have very beautiful roads laid down for people to move around. But the nature will not be quiet. There is too much of heat or too much of cold. When too much of heat, the tar also melts in certain areas. They require a different kind of roads. Either cement roads or some other material they have to use. And when it is extremely cold, the ice, the snowfall is there, and they keep on pouring some salt so that it doesn't become frozen there. It can be removed, it can be thrown away. They keep on cleaning it. But Adi Daivika Klesha, material nature is very powerful. In Switzerland, in some countries, Germany, people keep on sending some videos how it became so ice that they could not remove it, and the vehicles are skating and coming down and hitting all other vehicles. No control. You may create nice roads, you may have good technology, but what is the use? There is lockdown in certain situations in different countries, not because of some disease, because of extreme cold. They cannot go out because of snowfall, especially in icy countries where too much of snowfalls and all are there. They have to stay there for 15 days, 30 days. People who stay there, devotees who are sharing how they have to be just on frozen food. They will not be getting any proper food. But people who are staying in India or in some places, they are staying in Switzerland, they are staying in America, they are staying in Germany, they may be enjoying life. What is enjoyment? To take some frozen food. Just because we have made a nice roads does not mean that the life is comfortable. This material world, whether you are in a royal family or you are in an ordinary family, you have to go through all these tapatrayas. Tapatraya means sufferings from material nature. There are higher forces which are acting. You cannot control it. You want to be very comfortable by rejecting the material nature. How can you reject? You are subordinate to it. You have to go through it. You may reject God, but you cannot reject the nature of God. You are subordinate to it. You may say, I don't believe. Even if you don't believe, snowfall will fall. Even if you don't believe, if you say, I will close my eyes, today it should be hot. If it has to be cold, it will be cold. If it has to be hot, it will be hot. It is not under your control. So whether you wish very, very, very happy birthday or very happy new year, it will not become happy. You should know how to make it happy. And how to make it happy is not under a person who is under the material nature. You have to learn from the Lord who is above material nature. The Lord in the Bhagavad Gita is saying this place is meant for suffering. This is a place of suffering. So you can't be happy in this world. But yes, you can still be comfortable in this world, provided you are at least in going in line with the material nature, what is prescribed and how you can be regulated. By regulation, when you are staying in this world, it's not that you have to keep on suffering, you have to keep on doing hard work. In this world, people think that you have to just work hard. What is the use of working like animals just for some piece of bread? Animals keep on working morning to night for what? Just for some food. But in human form of life, you are recommended to work hard, and that working hard is called tapasya. And that tapasya is voluntary acceptance of hard work and penance to stop our sense gratification. That is a hard work. That kind of hard work when you do to stop sense gratification, you get higher happiness. If you take any kind of recommendations for diseases, finally they will say you have to have good immunity, take proper food, do some yoga, some exercises, keep yourself always fresh, neat and clean. This is what our Vedic life was recommending. You take regulated food, take good food, full of nourishment. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains what kind of food gives you nourishment. Food in the mode of goodness gives us nourishment to the heart, to the soul, to the body. But we feel a party can be done. We can enjoy the life only by putting suffering to your body, by eating dead bodies. Can you celebrate something? People, they have children and all sing congratulations. After that celebration, they sing. But what is the very celebration when you are killing and eating some dead animals? Very celebration with dead animals? You are drinking some alcohol which is putting you into so much of your own digestive line system. Everything, the body gets into suffering. Your digestive tract itself will get into problem when you are into, and especially you get diseases like diabetes and this and that, and you have to go on putting insulin injection to your body. Where is happiness? People wear 10,000 rupees dress, 60,000 rupees dress, 1 lakh rupees dress. And it's advertised, they wear 1 lakh rupees dress, 2 lakh rupees dress. Imagine you are having body with lot of diseases and you are having some bone injury. You are having skin problems. You are having diabetes. You are having cancer. All diseases, and you wear a 1 lakh rupees outside dressing. Will it help you? Maybe people may appreciate, oh, so nice your dress you are wearing. Mandalam lokaranjana apranasya hi dehasya. Even if a dead body is decorated, people around will say, oh, so nice they have decorated the dead body. Their family has so much of love for them. In this material world, everybody will appreciate only external things. Really, if internally you want to help somebody and you try to rectify them, not like a false moralist. False moralist means they only want to feel they are right. They don't have a system of authority system which is given by Krishna, by Bhagavad Gita. They don't accept the principles which are given through a systematic approach of parampara. They create their own illusion and they create their own parampara of knowledge. whether in a moral way or for spiritual matters. Certain things they may accept, what they accept, they will get that kind of benefit. Otherwise, they are only in an illusion, thinking that I am giving for God what God has given me. Everybody exploits me and they take a victim role. I am suffering, I am doing everything, nobody is helping me, everybody are exploiting me. Devotional service cannot be done with frustration. That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachyati. One song, Bhoga Arti song is there, where Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sung how the Lord is offered different varieties of foodstuff. Bhaja Bhakata Vatsala Gaurahari. In that song, how Bunje Hoy Preeto, Radharani is offering to Krishna all the foodstuffs, Bunje Hoy Preeto. She is offering with lot of love. Preeti is there, love is there. Krishna will not like to take any of your articles with force. Krishna, I am having my ancestors' property, you please take. I don't want, you take, because you have given me so much of suffering. You only take everything. Why Krishna will want to take? He has everything. Krishna has everything. He is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He doesn't require your ancestor property. He doesn't require your food also. Suppose you say, today I am making costly items for God. He has to take anyway. Why he has to take? Krishna will take only when you are giving with love. Why Krishna? We are all part and parcel. We are small human beings. If suppose you know a person is want to give something you with frustration, will you try to accept that until you are a rogue or a thief? You are also exploiting person. If suppose somebody is thinking, anyway I want to give everything, you take. Will somebody take? Nobody will take. A decent human being will not want to take from somebody when they are feeling they are being tortured. I am being put into frustration, and this world, this spirituality, everything is meant for putting us in problem. Is this what is spirituality? Is this what is spiritual life is? No. Krishna never wants anything like that. Krishna wants from us only devotion. We are going through the phases of Maya and karma, bad karma we are facing. We cannot play everywhere a victim position. Oh, I am being put into problem, others are putting me into trouble every time. There is a place where is a free will given to us. At any time we can take that choice because we are human beings. Kunti Devi, when she is put into troubles, so many troubles from Kauravas, and Vasudeva was put into so much of trouble by Kamsa. When the 8th child was supposed to be killed, she slipped out of Kamsa's hand and she appeared as a sister of Krishna, and she appeared with all her multiple arms and with all her paraphernalia, and she threatened Kamsa. She said, Kamsa, person who has to kill you has already taken birth. Be careful. You have given lot of suffering for so many people, including your sister. So Kamsa became very fearful, my God, because he saw Durga Devi, who came in front of him with all her arms and paraphernalia, and people were worshipping her. And he got very fearful. And after all that scene happened, he went and asked, I am sorry, my brother-in-law, sister, I have given you a lot of trouble. Please come. And he released them from the jail. He was very fearful. You see, your Kamsa can become fearful in a situation. A person actually, in fear only, he curses somebody. In fear only he wants to attack somebody. But when he went and told, I am sorry and all, Devaki and Vasudeva, they were okay with Kamsa. You see the nature of gentlemen. They were not thinking he is given so much of suffering, he has killed their children. According to Kamsa, 6 were killed. One was Balarama. One he thought that it was miscarriage. So 6 were killed in Kamsa's hand. But a person, when he said, I am sorry, Vasudeva, although he knew that these people can change any time, he was not taking any grudge on, keeping grudge on Kamsa. See the difference between Vasudeva and Kamsa. Kamsa, little his relationship is disturbed, he wants to become his enemy. A real relationship should not get disturbed by small provocation. In relationship, when you fight each other, only there is relationship which increases. Simply you are formally talking to somebody, oh how are you, I am fine, and just some hospitality to each other, that is not real relationship. Real relationship is Guhe Prichati. You share your secrets. You share and you give gifts and offer gifts. These are all how Preeti Lakshanam, it increases love. And it doesn't end there. You try to chastise them if they are going in a wrong direction. And you are ready to get chastised. It's not that you want to take always a superior role. I am a person, I want to take chastisement. I will not take chastisement. I will only give chastisement. This is a false master. You have to become a real master, and a real master means servant master. You have to be in a helping situation, not in a exploiting situation. Because we all have blind spots. What is blind spot? We have read in our school books that in our eyes, when your finger goes aside, at a certain portion you cannot see. In between that portion of that your eyes, eyelid, your eyeball, you cannot see certain things. Your camera of your eye lens, it will not go to the other side. Your retina cannot work. So there are blind spots in our watching only. Similarly, there are blind spots in our understanding of knowledge. There are blind spots in our nature which we will not be able to understand. There is a second person to teach us. There are blind spots in our character. We require a well-wisher to teach us. Unfortunate person will never accept a well-wisher. Because if a well-wisher is trying to teach them, see you are doing something wrong, then their ego gets hurt. When your ego gets hurt, even if it is the right thing, you only want a certain relationship. That's what friendship means. Or people are also okay with friendship which is connected with exploiting each other in sense gratification. Material friendship, people think, is that I can use some slang languages with my friends. And I can use some sensual, sense gratification, sexual matters I can discuss with friends. That is called friendship. That is one level of friendship of a person of mode of ignorance, tamoguna. We don't require tamoguna friends. We require friends who will actually help us. Suppose you have some issues medically, you require a person to share and help them. So they can help them. I am in suffering. I am having some urinary tract infection or this infection, that friend will help you, take you a doctor. That is nothing wrong. But if you are only want to have discussion about how will I have sense gratification with other friends, other girls, other boys, this is called friendship. And if you say something, see you are going in a wrong direction, don't go and put your money there. Don't go and believe that person, they will take you to a wrong direction. Don't fall for somebody who is praising you so much. They are not your real friend. If a well-wisher says you feel, no. See, he is envious of me. He's envious of me. Like that they may start thinking. Or if you are being utilized properly for a right work and you are working very, very hard and you know you are successful in that matter, nobody can question you. That is right. But taking something success in you, you want to blame all other things wrong in your friend because they are helping you, but you are feeling prakopaya, you are becoming angry because they are trying to rectify you. You are great in one subject. Suppose you are a mathematics expert and they are trying to help you in English language. In English I may not be great. I may be great in mathematics and physics. So one friend I keep, or I keep a trainer, please help me in this. So if they say, sir, you have to use this grammar properly. You are not using this sentence properly. No, you are not. You are wrong in calculation. I am good in calculation or you are good in calculation. You keep arguing on what you are good. So what you are good, anyway you will get the benefit. What you are bad, that's why you require a trainer. And this trainer is freely available from material nature if you become submissive. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Tadvidhi pranipatena. You have to become submissive. Otherwise, the material nature will force you to become submissive by disease, by old age, janma, mrityu, jada, vyadhi. You will be forced to become submissive to the diseases. You will be forced to take injections. You will be forced to be lying in hospital by paying big money. And your ward will be nicely decorated. There will be AC fan. You cannot eat your food. So you have to be taking through injection. And you have to be putting, through glucose and saline, they will be putting to your hand. And there you have to be eating, but you can watch television. AC around you. You have a buzzer next to you. For what? To go to toilet. Because two people has to carry you to go to the toilet. So whatever we try to put ourselves in a comfortable situation, material nature will not allow us to be in this world happy. The material nature is designed in such a way that you will always get into trouble. That's the nature of this world. So a well-wisher has to be alerting you. Be careful. Don't get carried away by name and fame or whatever temporary things. Because one day you have to give up this comfortable situation. You may be today lying in a nice comfortable cot, but you may not get sleep. What is the use? You may be eating the most costliest item, but you cannot pass stool. You will not get digestion. So you have to be obedient to the material nature. Yukta aharasya viharasya. You have to be regulated in your eating, sleeping and recreation activities. Yukta aharasya viharasya. In ahara, in food, in vihara, in your recreation, all these things you should be regulated. Otherwise, you have to get suffering. Whether it is Vasudeva or Kunti Devi, they were pious souls. Otherwise, they could not become the parents of Krishna. She could not become aunt of Krishna. Pandavas, they became friends, cousin brothers. In spite of that, they were having sufferings. So the nature of this world is suffering. So we should know how to respect relationships if you have to know how to protect your relationships. If you don't respect it, you will not be able to protect it. If you are a little good person, material world will be exploiting you because you will be thinking in one subject I am 100 out of 100. You require other subjects also to be getting 100 out of 100 to get that happiness. Even material peace and prosperity is dependent on submissiveness. We cannot claim in one subject I am very moral, I give 100 out of 100 in my work, but in all other subjects, I can find fault in others. And we see only holes, slitters in people. He is bad in this, he is bad, he is bad. And we can challenge them by bad language. This is one more the person who is arrogant, he can dare to scold anybody, thinking that because he is good in something, he can scold anybody anything. So because of that, he will get into bad karma, more and more suffering, more and more suffering. What he is thinking is good is actually good. He can be used for service of the Lord. His good talent can be used for the service of the Lord. But instead, if they are thinking, I am great, all others are doing mistake, only I can, they are using me, they are misutilizing me. This is one more victim role anybody can be taking and getting into trouble. This is material world. You see Vasudeva, how he took up the situation when Kamsa came to him. And when Kunti Maharani and Vasudeva met each other, and they were sharing how they had to go through a lot of troubles. But how both, although they are suffering, they were always remembering Krishna in all circumstances. This is what is the strength, this is what is the secret. So Kunti Devi, after the battle of Kurukshetra, she didn't want Krishna to go away from Hastinapura. But who can hold him? He is the king of Dwaraka, he is the Dwarakadisha. They are all missing him. The inhabitants of Vrindavan, Mathura or Dwaraka, whoever were there with Krishna, they can never give up Krishna. Krishna is their beloved Lord. How they can give up him? Including Hastinapura, the inhabitants of Hastinapura, they were seeing him every day when he was there. When they saw Krishna is going away, they could not stop their tears. The citizens of Hastinapura were crying, seeing Krishna going away. And sometimes some women, they were trying to wipe their tears, thinking that it will bring inauspiciousness to Krishna. They are feeling that, although he is the Supreme Lord, but in their emotion they were feeling, if I cry, it will bring unhappiness. Something unfortunate happens to Krishna because of our crying. No, we should not cry, we should not cry. They are in that feeling. You can imagine what kind of love they were having for Krishna. So in such kind of situation, Kunti Devi, she offered some prayers. And such very beautiful prayers. We'll see that in other classes also discussion. But today we will see in one or two prayers where she is praying to Krishna, his supreme position. What is Krishna's position is? He is Ishwaram Prakrite Param. He is a supreme Ishvara. He is Prakriti's head. He is a Prakrite Param. And he is Antar Bahiravasthitam. Kunti Devi had seen that how Krishna is within as Paramatma in our heart. And he is externally also standing as Krishna there. So Krishna knew that although Kunti knew that although Krishna is my nephew, he is not an ordinary nephew, he is the Supreme Lord who is acting like a nephew to me. And she is praying, Maya Javanika Channam. This illusory energy of the Lord, it is like a curtain. When there is a curtain closed, you cannot see the actors who are there in front of you. Maya Javanika Channam. One more also is there for this. How when we are in Maya, we cannot see realities. Like suppose somebody is acting on the stage. Our own friends, if you don't tell that character is your friend, you may not recognize because of their makeup and different ornaments. So when we see Krishna, we may think he is an ordinary person. That's how we cannot understand Krishna. Maya Javanika Channam. Everybody cannot understand him. Maya Javanika Channam. Agnya Dokshajam Avyayam is Adokshaja. Akshaja means our senses, our eyes. Akshaja means your eyes, what you can perceive through your eyes and senses. Adokshaja means one who cannot be perceived through your ordinary eyes. He is above your senses. You cannot perceive him. So one is Maya. It can put you in illusion. And one more thing is, he is Adokshaja. You cannot find out him. God cannot be found out. Why you cannot see him? Because he is Adokshaja. You cannot see him from your eyes. Nalakshase Moodadrisha means Moodas who are fools, they don't understand what is Krishna. Nato Natya Dharo Yata, just like a player. Nato Natya means just like we were saying about the characters on the stage, we cannot know who is that. Like that, we will not be able to understand Krishna and his devotees. We think they are like ordinary people because they are covered by Maya Javanika Channam. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are eternally irreproachable factor covered by curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer because we are seeing material nature is working. Where is God? That's how atheist will ask, where is God? Where is God? I cannot see him. But you can see the energy of the Lord. You can see the power of Maya. So if you are not good enough to see, you see the energy of the Lord. That is also God for you. So Krishna can lift Govardhan hill to protect his devotees because he is the hero of his devotees. It is mentioned how the Lord becomes a son in the lap of his mother. He becomes a hero for his devotees in protecting the Vrindavan inhabitants. So he can kill Putana, he can lift Govardhan hill, just like children can lift some small bushes and flowers, and they can hold and be playing around. Like that he could lift Govardhan hill. And these are all superhuman activities of the Lord. So here they are saying how he can become a hero, how he can become a householder, how he can become a teacher of Bhagavad Gita, and he can become a renouncer. So that's how we accept Supreme Lord Krishna. He is accepted by Narada, Asita, Vyasa, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, all authorities, they are accepting him. Whereas our foolish intelligence, who is accepting? Only our own mind is saying. We think when our mind says everything is truth, when such great acharyas who are detached from this material world, who always want to help others, they are guiding us. We only see the mistakes of the so-called followers. Instead of being compassion, if you are superior to somebody, you have to become compassionate to them. If you are trying to be a victim and feel they are doing mistake for you, then you have to pardon them. Be far away from them. Instead of that, we keep on blaming others, we can never be happy. So here it is said, such persons could not recognize Krishna because of stubborn obstinacy. They say, don't be a stubborn animal. Because you are so stubborn, you will not understand. So they want to know everything by their experimental knowledge. How God can be experimented? You cannot experiment God. Because He is Adokshaja. He is above your senses. You want to see through microscope what you cannot see, the spirit soul only. They are all part and parcel of Krishna. We cannot only be seen. How you can see God? We are all conditioned souls. So she is also accepting, oh Krishna, we are all conditioned. We want to come out of this conditioned nature means, you please remove that Maya. Maya Javanika Channam. Just like a curtain, if you remove, you can see the deity darshan there. So we have been now covered by this Maya, and in the Maya when I am thinking, I am very important, I am very good, or I am very bad, I will not care for God. You cannot see God in both circumstances. So, who can see the Lord? She is explaining, Tata Paramahamsanam. The Lord can be seen by great souls. Paramahamsa. Hamsa means, swans. So these swans, they can separate out water and milk. That's why this word is used. Paramahamsa means one who can separate out material energy and spiritual energy. They are Paramahamsas. So you are Tata Paramahamsanam. You are understood by that such kind of great souls, Paramahamsanam, Muninam Amalatmanam. There are great sages. Munis are always not right, they are not always theists. They may be atheistic people also, even among sages. So, Muni means generally is considered to be a thinker. A Muni means who can think. And these people, thoughtful people, they may be sometime atheistic or theistic, and they may be having different opinions. It's always said, one Muni will differ with other Muni. Like one philosopher will not be called a philosopher or a Muni until he differs from one more Muni. That's why we don't go to Munis, even if they are with great knowledge and great science if they are having, and great Vedanta they know also. We don't go to one Muni. We learn knowledge from Parampara, because no Muni will accept other Muni, because he is great in that knowledge. So why he will accept other knowledge? That's why they have their own school of thought. So to accept Krishna, you cannot just go to a materialistic Munis. But there are Munis who can understand knowledge and understand Krishna. So such Munis can understand you. Paramahamsas can understand you, O Krishna. Muninam Amalatmanam. Then Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham Katam Pashyami hi Striyaha. I am an ordinary person, a woman, how can I understand you? So you see, a devotee never feels whether he is taken a position of a king or of a queen, of a woman or a man, whatever position he takes, he will not think, I am great because of that. Maharaj Yudhishthira, you will see in the later verses how he doesn't feel he has become great because of killing so many people in Kurukshetra war. He was feeling sad that because of me so many people were killed. What is this Krishna? And Krishna explains to him personally, don't worry. Oh Yudhishthira, don't worry. This was a duty. This was my plan. I made everybody killed because they were all going in adharma. That's why I have come. Vyasadeva explained him. In spite of all of that, he was not feeling satisfied. So Lord had a plan to make him give instructions through Bhishma, one more great devotee who had taken the role of playing an enemy role of fighting with Krishna and Pandavas. But he never wanted to fight. But you know, as a Kshatriya, as a warrior, if you have taken anything from them, some money, like Bhishma was below Duryodhana because he was not a king. Although it was his kingdom and he had given away that kingdom, Bhishma was such so great personality that he gave up his kingdom for the sake of his father to get married to Satyavati. She was a fisherman's daughter. When Bhishma's father wanted to get married to Satyavati, he went and asked the fisherman, I want to get married. So the fisherman told that you are already having a son and he will become the king. My daughter's children will not become king, so why should I get you married? So he went away. So this was told to Bhishma that your father wants to get married. But that fisherman is saying that because you are there, he will not give the daughter. So he went personally and requested that you please give your daughter to my father. So this person repeated the same thing. So he told, okay, I will promise you that I will not take the kingdom. My father's second wife's children only can become the king. I will not take. So this person was over smart fellow. So he told, maybe you will not take the kingdom, but your children will fight with my daughter's children, that it is their kingdom. So then Bhishma took a promise that I will not marry whole life. So because of this, his father, although he was feeling guilty, shame that his son has gone and asked for daughter for his marriage, so he gave him a benediction that he will die only when he wills. So Bhishma had that benediction from his father. And even after the battle of Kurukshetra, He could not be completely killed. He was wounded and he was lying on the bed of arrows. And Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was feeling very sorry that my life, I have put everybody in risk. I should come out of this mistake. I have done so much of sin. So they performed Ashwamedha Yajna. So many yajnas were performed. So he was giving reasons how, because of him, so many people have suffered. So many women have suffered. Their dependents, they had father, brothers, son. So they will all be feeling so sad. And their enmity, their curse on us, how they can get rid of that? You see how a great personality, they will always be feeling that I have done wrong to others. They will not feel, I am a person, I am so great, I have done so many nice things, what they have done for me. Even Yudhishthir Maharaj's grandson, Parikshit Maharaj, he was actually walking in a forest. It was a duty of Kshatriyas to once in a while go to the forest and hunt with wild animals. Not like modern royal patronage means they will take a gun and go to the forest and kill innocent birds and come back. Previously, royal patronage means they have to go personally with their hands, they have to fight with wild animals. It's not easy to fight with a wild animal. That much of vigor they require to fight with the enemies. That was a training. Just like a medical science, you are a student of medical science. First you are taught in laboratory how to kill animal and do experiment. Similarly, the Kshatriyas were allowed to kill animals, wild animals. Like you have to fight means you have to fight with a rhinoceros or with a lion or a tiger, and you have to personally kill and you have to drag that to the kingdom. Then you are considered to be a Kshatriya, powerful king. So once Parikshit Maharaj had gone for hunting, and in hunting when they are going there was no water, nothing anywhere. So generally sages, they stay in forest, and when they are in the forest, he went search for somewhere any water is there, and he saw one sage was meditating. And he went inside that hermitage and he saw that person is meditating, and he didn't receive him. Previously, Kshatriyas, they knew how to respect the sages, and sages knew how to give good hospitality even in the forest. At least they will give water, they will make them sit, everything comfortable. But here, the sage was in meditation, or he could not notice he has come. So somehow by destiny, he became angry. Parikshit Maharaj had all good qualities, but at that time he became angry, and he saw one dead snake was lying there. He put on him and he came away. So this was known to his son. Somebody came and told this one king had insulted your father. So that sage's son, he cursed Maharaj Parikshit that you will be killed by a flying snake. Takshaka will come and kill you, and you will be killed. Like that he cursed him. Within 1 week you will be killed. So his father, after he came to the senses, he threw that. He never took it so seriously at all. But when his son came crying, he was a small boy. Arbaka means small boy, a foolish child. But he was so powerful that he cursed the king Parikshit. And because of this, the whole Kuru Vamsha had to lose such a great king like Maharaj Parikshit in his young age. So he thought it is a duty, and he scolded also his son. What is that you have done, my dear son? That he is a protector of Dharma, and he has all right for a person who has done mistake to punish. So you have cursed him. This is not right. You should have patience. Brahmana means you are supposed to have patience. Sometimes it is blamed that because of so-called Brahmins, this Kali Yuga had to enter, this kind of degradation happened. Sometimes they say like that, although it is not reality. So this boy cursed, and his father went to Maharaj Parikshit and he told, King, we are sorry, this has happened. My son has cursed you. In 1 week you are dying. Meanwhile, Maharaj Parikshit, after he did this and he came back to his palace, he was contemplating, what I have done? I should not have done this mistake. Why did I behave like this? How I became such a foolish person? Let something happen. Let some curse fall on me. Let me die immediately. He was thinking like that. See, in the Vedic knowledge, in the Vedic wisdom, they always feel what I have done mistake. Here in Kali Yuga, we always feel what I have done great thing. I am good in this, I am good in this. They have done this mistake. They are not supposed to do this. This is a difference between what previously people used to think and do and what we are today. So he is also not thinking like that. Maharaj Yudhishthira, he is also thinking, I have done mistake. And here Maharaj Parikshit, he also was thinking, I have done mistake. And nobody, even that sage never thought he has done mistake. He thought, I have done mistake. Although he was put snake on him, he was not thinking dead snake on him. He is thinking, oh, I didn't properly do hospitality to him. A person has come in thirst and I am not given in water. In Sanskrit language, a guest is called Atithi. Atithi means, Tithi means time. Atithi means nobody has informed you. No appointment in Vedic age. Anybody can walk to your house. They are called Atithi. Without appointment. Atithi exact means without appointment, without time fixing. That is, Tithi is time. Atithi, without appointment they are coming to your house, without fixing time. And you still have to honor them. Such kind of honoring a person, a guest, that was Vedic culture. And he was feeling, oh, I am not given him water. He has come to my house. And I could not give him water also. Nowadays, the Western world, so polished life, but without appointment, you cannot go meet your friend also. You cannot be an uninvited guest to anybody. They will shoot you. You go and ask water. You cannot enter into a compound wall of anybody, especially in the Western world. They will kill you. You are always prohibited. They have big boards, prohibited. You cannot enter anywhere. Entry is not allowed. You are not allowed. No entry. The Indian wisdom, Vedic wisdom is that anybody can go to any place, any village. They will give you hospitality. They will give you food. Nowadays, some bloggers are seeing how they go to India. In India, in villages also, they call and give them food without any return. They are not feeling, oh, I have to give them something. So, especially in traditional Indian villages, still even now you go, and that's what advantage some sadhus and sages they take, that I am a great sadhu, I have to be respected, and they take up escapism to earn some living. But even that kind of people were given food, so nobody were blamed. So Yudhishthira Maharaj didn't blame, he was taking blame. He never blamed Kauravas. He was thinking, they did their duty of fighting, but after that they are blaming themselves. They were taken to Bhishma, and Krishna wanted them to hear from Bhishma. And Bhishma spoke the wisdom of what is Rajaniti, how kings have to behave. It is very beautifully explained in Bhagavatam, how Bhishma explained what is Rajadharma, what is a dharma of a husband, of a woman, of everything. Many things were explained. And King Yudhishthira was thinking, I am such a sinful person. He is saying, see my heart which is full of ignorance. This body which is ultimately meant for others has killed many phalanxes of men. This is how any person, a noble man, has to feel. See, he is saying a solid phalanx of 21,870 chariots. This was what Kurukshetra battlefield was. 21,870 elephants, 1,650 infantry, and 65,600 cavalry is called one Akshaunis. Many Akshaunis were killed in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So you see how systematic numbering, everything is given, and they say this is all mythology. What Vyasadeva had no business to give mythology to the world. They were all great sages, they were not speculators, they were not making some cinema propaganda. There are so many videos made in internet, in YouTube, in Facebook, and so many things for getting money. Vyasadeva was not a speculator, nor he was a blogger to get some money by doing some speculation. They were great acharyas. So here Yudhishthira Maharaj is feeling that I have killed many boys, brahmanas, well-wishers, friends, parents, preceptors and brothers. Though I live millions of years, I will not be relieved from the hell that awaits me all these sins. There is no sin for a king who kills for the right cause, who is engaged in maintaining his citizens. But this injunction is not applicable to me. You see, there are injunctions you can fight. But he is feeling, this is not meant for me. Why? I have killed many friends of women and have thus caused enmity to such an extent that it is not possible to undo it by material welfare work. Once you do some damage to somebody, it is not possible to come out of it, even if you try to go and do so many good things for them. That's why materially you can never do anything good. You have to do spiritually only good. So whatever material you do good for others, that has all some limitations. But that's why it is mentioned that yata pankena pankabaha, as it is not possible to filter muddy water through mud or purify a wine stand point with wine, it is not possible to counteract the killing of men by sacrificing animals. That's why people try to go on to relieve their sin. I have done this mistake, I will go to God and get away these sins. By doing one more sinful activity, how can you go and really get relieved? So only by doing devotional service, you can understand the nature of this world. You cannot satisfy anybody in this material world, nor you will get satisfied. The only way of satisfaction is to become a most submissive and humble servant of God and His devotees. So this can happen only by taking shelter of Supreme Lord and His devotees. You can see how Bhishma, he actually was seeing his grandsons taken a good position because of being in shelter of Krishna. See, Kauravas are 100 people, they had more soldiers, they had more weapons. Pandavas were 5 people, but they were supplied with so many soldiers and such a big battle they could organize because of Krishna being with them. When Duryodhana went to Krishna, because it was a family fight, both Kauravas and Pandavas he had to support. So when first Duryodhana had a choice to get from him whatever he wants, so Krishna said, because it's a family fight, I will not personally fight. I will not personally fight. But I will send my army. I can give my army. And I will be in the other side, but I will not fight. So immediately Duryodhana chose the whole Yadu army. He took the whole army of Yadus. But the Pandavas, they chose only Krishna. Arjuna wanted, Krishna, you be there with me, I don't want anything else. And because of taking such a nice choice, they had Krishna with them, the Supreme Lord. Krishna was personally directing, Arjuna, do this, don't do this. Who will get such opportunity? This is what a devotee can get. This is what even materially a well-wisher can do for you in a basic platform. A person who doesn't want well-wisher, he'll only want a material transaction in life. Material transactions are different from a real well-wisher transaction. And a well-wisher of this material world will always have limitation. Whereas a spiritualist, his well-wisher, he actually has no limitation because he is under the guidance of the Supreme Lord. And here, Krishna, when he understood that he will not listen me, Yudhishthir Maharaj was so much into depression because of this all Kurukshetra war. He actually wanted only some peace of mind. And Krishna understood, he will not listen to me, let me take him to Bhishma. And let Bhishma advise him. And let Bhishma also be happy. And he told Pandavas to decorate very well, and he took to Bhishma Deva. So that Bhishma also will see, my poor grandchildren, they were suffered so much. But now because of being with Krishna, and they are, even materially they are happy. Materially also they will get all riches. That's why in this world, when we are understanding anything, we should know what is this royal life, what is material life, how being little submissive in our life, we can get even material peace and ultimately spiritual peace. We'll stop here. Jai Jagannath.